Hi, Sandy Bacus here, channel name Sandy B. Stitcher, and I am here to do my February book review. A little bit late. It is Monday, March 4th, but better late than never. Okay, so let's just get right into it. I have a goal of trying to read at least one fiction and one nonfiction, and just for my own personal thoughts on it, I am using anything biography, autobiography, regular nonfiction, devotions, any of those types of things as nonfiction. If it's a novel, then I'm including it as fiction. So this month I tried to catch up. I'm way behind on magazines that I get on a regular basis, and I tried to catch up on a few more of those. Some of the ones that I read were an issue of Guideposts from last summer. I really enjoy those. Then AARP magazine and the AARP bulletin. And also, I had been getting Reader's Digest. I think my subscription is about to run out on that. So I caught up on some of the older issues of those. Also, I had gotten a free magazine as a free trial from Guideposts, and that was called Mornings with Jesus. And so there was a devotional in there for each morning of that particular, I think it was a 2-month issue. Pardon me. And I had read that and enjoyed it, but I didn't subscribe to it because I've already got too many things that I can't keep up with. So I will list all of those below in case you're interested in going to any of the websites and subscribing to any of those. Okay, my fiction book that I read was Nora Roberts' Northern Lights, and let's see, I'm giving this book a rating of 4.5, but actually it would be anything between 4.5 and 5. I very rarely ever give a book a 5 because that would mean it's perfect. This book is set in Alaska, and it was very exciting. It basically is the story of a man who was a cop or policeman in Boston, and he was involved in a shooting where his partner was killed and he was seriously wounded and really had a hard time with the mental and emotional recovery after that. And so he ends up finding himself in Alaska, taking a job as a police chief there. And a lot of the people there really weren't too sure about having an outsider come in to be the police chief. And so it's basically the story of what happens to him there, all of the different things that take place. It was really, really, really good. I was interested from page 1 and read it in a relatively short period of time, and it is a fairly good-sized book. Nora Roberts is just a very, very good author. She has written many, many, many books, and very enjoyable. So that was my my fiction. Okay, one of my nonfiction was called A Well-Worn Path by Dan Wilt, and this is basically a devotional. It's a 31 days. Let me see if it has a, well, there's the tape, and you're not going to be able to see that. It's too light. That's the table of contents. There's 31 short chapters in here with a, it has a little box about what the devotional is going to be, and then most of them are like a 2-page with a little prayer at the end. It was very, very good. I didn't read it as a daily devotional. I tend to sit down and read 2, 3, 4 days and then not pick it up again for a little bit. But it was a good book. I really didn't think about a rating for this. Maybe a 3.5. It wasn't as good as some devotionals that I have read, but it was pretty good. Now, let me see if I can get this to the other one that I read. And let's see, go to my library, and I believe it was in this nonfiction. And see if I can get the cover page pulled up here. Okay, beginning. Now let's see if I can get it to go to the front cover. No, you know, trying to touch these things and get them exactly where you want it to go, if it doesn't give you the option of going right to the cover, is sometimes a little bit tricky. No, not there. That's not where I want to go. Maybe one more. Ah, cover. Okay, this is Roaring Mountain, a true story. This is by Shirley Gray, and again, I'll put this down below. I'm too close to the screen there. Whoa, wait a minute. The picture on the front is of Shirley Gray's son, and this, I liked this book, but it was disturbing to a certain extent. Her son was a free spirit, and I forget the year it was that he died, but I remember somewhere in the book it talked about that he was 17 years old in the night. I can't remember right now because it's been a while since I finished it. Anyways, he was a free spirit. He felt a need to save the planet, save the environment. He was a smart person, but didn't do well in a structured class situation. And he loved to go out into nature, and he loved mountain climbing. And he was mountain climbing in the state of Washington, and this is a true story. He was mountain climbing with a friend, and he was buried in an avalanche, and they weren't able to get his body out. And that's basically what I'm going to say about that. This story is written way after the fact, because it took her many, many, many years to get to the point where she could actually even talk about this. So the book is written way after I think like 20 years after he died. And she tells us a lot of interesting information about her son, so you know all about him and his background. And in between her telling about him, she's telling the story of what happened that day on the mountain. And I'm not going to give you any more, because if you go to read this, you want to be able to learn it the way I learned it as I read through the book. I don't want to give you any spoilers on it, so that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell you whether he's still buried on the mountain or whether he isn't. Read the book, find out. I would give this book at least a 4.5. I thought it was really well written. It was very, very interesting, and it just, a young man lost his life at the age, I think he was 32. So that's it for this time. I have started reading at least one other book, and I'm not going to give anything away about that, so I'm going to let you go for now. Even though this isn't a stitching video, I'm still going to send out my love and hugs to everybody. And if you enjoy these book reviews, please let me know. Like the video, leave me a short comment so that I know whether I should keep doing this or not. I'm going to read one way or the other, But the question is should I come on here and do a video once a month? See ya.